Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to do a deep dive on, well, this is a new source for me, and let's just say it's pretty out there,
Definitely unique.
but I think it's going to be an interesting deep dive nonetheless. So,
Yeah, I think so too.
okay, so this source is all about Zach and Veronica
Okay.
and their relationship.
Right.
And it starts with this statement. Zach loves Veronica so much.
Okay.
So anything jump out at you about that?
I mean, just on the face of it, not really, no.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty basic statement.
I
That's
mean,
like
it's
obvious,
bad.
right?
Yeah.
But then we get this like
Yeah.
right away. It's like eating tacos naked on the moon.
Okay. Now that one.
So what do you make of that?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is just the contrast, right? I mean, Zach loves Veronica so much. It's like eating tacos naked on the moon.
Right.
So it seems like there's this huge disparity between like the depth of his feelings
Yeah.
and then this just like really out there analogy. I mean, eating tacos naked on the moon, what does that even mean?
Well, it sounds like a party to me.
Yeah.
But it's also like very exposed and vulnerable. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you're really putting it all out there.
Yeah, I mean, you're naked, you're on the moon, there's no hiding, you're completely exposed. And I think that could be what the author is trying to get at here.
Yeah.
Like, Zach's love for Veronica is this kind of all-consuming, no-holds-barred kind of feeling.
And then it also kind of hints at like the isolation, right?
Right,
Like
right.
being on the moon.
On the moon. Yeah, it's just them. Like, nobody else understands this love or
Right.
this experience.
Right. So
That's unique.
it's unique, it's powerful, it's vulnerable, it's all these things. But then we get this other detail. Veronica
Yeah.
is grouchy sometimes. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, doesn't that just throw a wrench in the whole thing?
Right.
Like, if Zach's love is so intense and all-encompassing, why is Veronica grouchy? Does she not feel the same way? Is she just like a naturally grumpy person?
Yeah.
Is there something else going on?
Well, I mean, we don't really get a lot of information, right? So it's kind of left up to us
Yeah.
to interpret.
Right.
And then there's this other detail that well, it kind of threw me for a loop when I first read it.
Yeah.
So apparently when Veronica's grouchy, Zach arches his back like a dragon,
Okay.
and she loves him again.
Huh. Interesting. What do you make of that? I mean, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is that it's just kind of a playful gesture, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to be silly, cheer her up.
Yeah, and it obviously works, right?
Right, yeah. It says she loves him again. So maybe it's just this, like, quirky thing they do.
Yeah.
Like, their own little inside joke, their own way of reconnecting when things are off.
Yeah.
But I also wonder if there's something deeper there.
Oh!
Yeah. I mean, a dragon, right? That's a pretty powerful image. Dragons are usually associated with strength, dominance, even aggression. So maybe there's a power dynamic at play here.
Interesting.
Like maybe Zach's dragon arch is more than just a playful gesture. Maybe it's a way of asserting his dominance, of reminding Veronica who's in control.
Yeah, and maybe that's what she responds to.
Right. Maybe that's what makes her love him again.
So like a submission
Right.
kind of thing.
Exactly.
I mean, we don't really know for sure, right?
Right.
But it definitely raises some questions. It's actually given the whole like vulnerability thing earlier.
Exactly.
It's like, is he being vulnerable or is he trying to control the situation?
It's a really interesting paradox. I mean, maybe it's both, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he feels vulnerable, but also needs to be in control.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or maybe the author is just playing with these different ideas, you know, trying to create this complex and kind of confusing picture of their relationship.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this source so fascinating.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's not your typical love story.
No, it's not.
It's messy, it's weird, it's kind of all over the place, but it's definitely compelling.
Definitely.
So to wrap up, I guess the big question is, what does this all tell us about love?
I mean, I think it shows that love can be really complicated. It's not always pretty. It's not always straightforward. It can be messy. It can be confusing. It can even be a little bit scary sometimes.
Yeah, and it can definitely involve eating tacos naked on the moon.
Apparently so.
So for all of you listening at home, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What does love look like to you?
I think that's a great question to leave our listeners with.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.
See you later.